Oh, should the U.S. be looking at similar security measures to Israel? Has it really come to that? Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, the president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, is here. Dr. Jasser, I was just quoting you to Amar, who was on the program. We were talking about the need for Muslims to start to change from within, and you've been a big part of that and a big proponent of that. But turning to this other subject, I mean, it feels like, there has to be some change. It has to come soon, because if not, there are some serious risks that everything you hear from Donald Trump could get multiplied in the coming years if we don't deal with this problem.
You're so right, Trish. And these things actually are all interrelated. And it's why you need a president, you need candidates that have a unifying vision, the way they look at America, the way they look at the world. What is their doctrine for the Middle East? Will we work for liberty-minded, with liberty-minded Muslims against the theocrats? That's the way we need to thread the needle. And I think Israel does that very well. Governor Huckabee is right. The problem is we have to be nuanced. It's not that they vet against all Muslims. They vet against Islamists, against jihadists, Hamas supporters, ISIS supporters, but they also vet against anti-Semites and Baathists, Arabists, if you will. So it's not just Muslims. There are those non-Muslims of the fascist regimes and from Iraq, Syria, with the Baathists and others that are Arabists that are also enemies of Israel. So Israel also, I'm sure, doesn't only vet against Muslims. They vet against anyone that harbors anti-Semitism, and we're forgetting to have that strategy of looking at the precursors.
Do we need to be adopting a policy such as Israel's? I mean, let's face it, much smaller country, so easier to do there, but they have extremely intense security. Is that where we're heading? Do we need to vet everyone more diligently?
This is why, we need to forget political correctness, but we need to be correct, and Israel gets it right. They know who their enemies are. They know that the theopolitical movement globally, from Hamas to the Brotherhood to ISIS, is their enemy, and they will vet against all forms of Islamism. So in Orlando, Bernardino, in the wake, we should learn that we need to know that violent homophobia comes after nonviolent homophobia. Violent anti-Semitism comes from nonviolent anti-Semitism. We are hamstringing our FBI and Homeland Security because we're not letting them monitor Islamists within mosques, within Muslim communities, not to shut them down, but at least to monitor the ideologies.
Dr. Jasser, what do you say to those who say, well, you got to protect freedom of speech and freedom of thought and freedom of ideas?
This is not no one's going to take away their freedom. They're just going to be monitored. We should know their Facebook postings. They should have been well aware that this guy's father was supporting the Taliban on public YouTube. It takes 2 seconds to find that. Nobody's going to shut them down. Just like when we were at war against the communists and the Soviet Union, we were monitoring the Communist Party. We shouldn't have shut them down, but we never should stop monitoring the precursor ideologies that lead to the end pathway. They're not, and by the way, it's not just monitoring. Trish, right now, those groups are our allies. We're working with them to tell us who's good and who's bad. They're actually our enemy ideologies. They're insurgencies within these Muslim communities that are against us that we have to use to support, when in fact we should be working with Muslims that are antagonizing those ideas and working to reform.
I got to run, but it's clear we got a lot of work to do. A lot, and we'll be talking to you some more. Dr. Jasser, thank you so much. All right, breaking today, everyone. New revelations that the Clinton Foundation is accepting millions